I'm pretty sure everybody's aware of what's going on with Sega and Atlas and Persona 6. Um, Apparently, Sega's doing everything they can to try and keep Persona 6 a surprise, but apparently they're not doing a good job at it because we have seen leaked photos of not necessarily the game, but the character designs for the supposed protagonists for the game. Persona 6 is supposed to have like dual protagonists, and based off of what we saw, one character had blonde hair and the other one had black hair with like red highlights. And I think it's like a boy and a girl. I'm not exactly sure. But but yeah, these characters look, I don't know, they look more like woke compared to what we've seen in Persona 5. I honestly think, Persona 5, like Joker, his design was pretty cool. And I think most of the character designs in Persona 5 was cool as well. And as you can see on the screen, I have pictures of Persona 5. And the reason is because they're doing DMCA takedowns for like leaked images of Persona 6. So I just use Persona 5 photos. But but yeah, Persona 6 is a game that's expected to be, I guess, released sometime next year, like in fall or September of next year. And with these recent leaks for Persona 6, a lot of people are anticipating an official announcement from Atlas or Sega about, Persona 6. And as it currently stands, there's not too much we know about the game other than what we saw in the leaks. Um, I think the main color for this game is supposed to be green because for those who don't know or those who are unfamiliar with the Persona series, every game has like a main color assigned to it that kind of defines the theme of the game. Persona 5 from 10 years ago used red. Persona 4 used yellow, and I think 3 used blue. So the anticipated color for Persona 6 is green, and I'm not exactly sure what they're going to go for in terms of plot. I'm hoping that the art direction for Persona 6 is similar to that of Persona 5 because I love the art direction and the art style they use in Persona 5 with the 3D cel shaded graphics. Um, yeah, Persona 5 honestly ended up being a game that did way better than anybody expected because I think the original version of the game that came out in a PS4, like during like the PS4 Xbox One era, actually was like one of the, I think it was one of the best selling games on the PlayStation 4 at the time. And I think the series, the Persona 5 series, surpassed like 13 million units sold like worldwide. So like I feel like to this day, like Persona 5 is still one of the best JRPGs that we've gotten within the past decade. And I honestly feel like for the most part, Persona 6 is going to be held to like really, really high standards because of how like well that Persona 5 was. Um and I think we're supposed to be getting like a Persona 4 like remake like sometime in the future as well. I heard that was something that was also rumored for 2027 as well. But but if we are getting like both of those games next year, then I honestly feel like 2027 is going to be a star-studded year for video game releases because we have like I feel like no 2027 is going to be a star-studded year for video games in general because we got the we got the Zelda movie coming out next year, and we got the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 movie coming out next year as well. Um, there's like a lot of like big releases coming out in 2027. I'm hoping that I hope that Persona 6 is going to be a game that comes out within like the next year or so, and it's not something that's going to be constantly delayed like GTA 6. And I feel like Rockstar has delayed that game so many times to a point where I just don't care anymore. I think it's supposed to come out later this year, but I don't know. I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that's the case. But yeah, Sega's obviously, not happy about, people, leaking their IPs and stuff like that before they make official announcements and anything. But the thing is, like, I feel like this is something that's really uncharacteristic of Sega because, like, I know like Nintendo for the most part they're very strict with like leaks and I guess like emulation and they're strict with just about everything. Sega is normally like is just chill and they're whatever and they appreciate certain things, but I don't know, I feel like Persona 6 is something that they specifically wanted to keep top secret because they really wanted to be a surprise, but in the gaming world you can't really keep anything a surprise anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, it's good to know that Persona 6 is a thing. I heard the development for the game is actually done, but they're probably like putting on the finishing touches and stuff like that. But if like even if like the game is like done in terms of development, I would still like, Atlas and Sega to make sure it's well polished so it's not broken or it's not a mess or anything like that. But I don't know, you look at like most of the Persona games that we have gotten like within the past like 2 decades, like none of them have ever been like bad or glitchy or anything like that. So I have high hopes for Persona 6 and hopefully we learn more details about like the story and like the characters and what direction Sega and Atlas is going to take Persona 6 in within the next couple of months or so.